Welcome back to the Unpredictable Gardener. I am Steven. So today I wanted to talk about 10 plants that I loved so much this year that I'm going to grow again next year. Number 1 on my list is zinnias. I technically did not grow any zinnias. I did buy some zinnias later in the season, and I put them in my hanging pots by the barrel planters with the variegated canna that are across from the pond. I do have a ton of zinnia seeds that I grew previously, and I can show you a few pictures of the zinnias that I've grown previously. And I mean, they're just fantastic plants to grow, and they're so easy. I mean, there's a picture of a zinnia plant still stuck in a 4-inch pot that really just grew an entire season in the ground. You know, it did what it needed to do to survive. Another plant I'm going to grow again is Rudbeckia or Black-Eyed Susan. I did grow a lot of Rudbeckia from seed. I didn't end up planting a lot of it in the garden because I was just too lazy to put it somewhere. I did have Rudbeckia from another season come up in one of my island gardens in the lawn. And also, my mother is getting more and more interested in different varieties of Rudbeckia. I mean, it's really a staple perennial, or even an annual, because some of the varieties are annual, but it's really a staple that everybody should have in the garden. It's a long-lasting bloom. It's it's November 11th, and it's still out there in the garden in 30-degree weather, blooming. So the third plant on my list is petunias. So I have my receipt from Swallowtail Garden Seeds in California, and I bought Opera Supreme Raspberry Ice, and that was more of a spreading petunia. That was the purple one. And then I bought Prism Sunshine, and those are sort of taller. I have pictures here of how I used them in pots and in the landscape and even at my parents' house. I am definitely going to grow both varieties again, but I'm going to try and use more of the purple, more of the spreading one than I did this year. The problem is that the raspberry ice, I only bought 10 seeds, and the Prism Sunshine was 50 seeds. So I might have to just buy double or triple of the raspberry ice. But for what I used the purple or raspberry ice for, it really spread a good amount. And it would be nice to have that as like a border annual in the beds, because I did use the Prism Sunshine for that, but it was a bit too tall. So I will definitely order those again. So number 4 on my list is marigolds. Now, I grew marigolds in the raised bed, and they turned out to be like bushes. Now, do I want to have marigold bushes again? Not necessarily, but they did bloom and last until the first hard frost. So I think I can grow them again and just be very specific about where I want them. But I also want to grow the more smaller 6-inch variety marigolds. Maybe some reds, some whites, some yellows, not just the typical orange ones. So next on my list is coleus. Now, for the past few years, I have just consistently ordered coleus seeds, and I buy them from Swallowtail Garden Seeds. And there's a thumbnail in one of my earlier videos for the year of me holding this packet of tiny seeds. And that's one of my biggest issues with coleus, is they come in these tiny seeds, and you literally have to take like a tweezers, individually take them in tweezers and plant them. Now, something I will not do again is, instead of having individually planted like pods or like individual pots for the seedlings, I just took a tray and I filled it with seed starting mix, and then I just sort of threw the seeds on there. I'm not doing that again. That did not give me the yield size that I was used to. So I'm going to do more individually planted. And I will throw up a picture of some of the coleus that I've grown. I can tell you here. So I chose the Giant Exhibition Palisandra, the Superfine Rainbow Multicolor, the Wizard Jade, and the Wizard Velvet Red. I will always do like the rainbow varieties. I just think those are the coolest ones. And then the Wizard Velvet Red was a really good one as well. I think you saw in a previous video that I'm overwintering some of them in the 4 seasons. So number 6 on my list of 10 plants I'm gonna grow next year. I mean, it has to be the tried and true staple, Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. I grow it every year. It's a beast of a plant. I mean, it can get like 6 feet tall if you let it. It loves water, it loves sun. I like it because it gives me sort of a Japanese maple-like look to it, and I can squeeze it in where I need it. I have put it in the pond, I have put it in full sun, I have put it in partial shade. It will just grow where I need it to grow. So I talked to my mother. She doesn't want as much of it anymore. I said, well, I'm still going to grow it because I can use it wherever I need it to be. Like this year was the first year that I grew it up against the house. And it was great. It was great for that hard to plant area. I mean, it gets full sun all day, beating on the house, and it's the perfect thing. If it wasn't there, that whole area would just be bare with weeds. So number 7 on my list is asters. Typically, I tend to only grow one kind of aster, and it is the king-size apricot asters from Johnny's seeds. And I've been growing those for the last 3 years. You know, to me they're sort of like zinnias, just with a different, more delicate flower. So I enjoy those. I will put pictures of those up on the screen. So number 9 on my list is coneflowers. So this year I did grow some seeds for purple coneflowers. And I did plant them in the garden, but they didn't get big enough to flower. So I don't have pictures of those flowering. The other issue with the coneflowers is, at least in my garden, they tend to develop aster yellow, which is a disease from like a bug. It's some sort of bug that like hops from one plant to another, and you get these like deformed flowers. And once you see that, you're supposed to pull the entire plant and just throw it away, not even like compost it or take it to the yard waste place because you don't want it to spread. So coneflowers and bee balm are the biggest ones that get it in my yard. I had to rip out all of my red bee balm because it got aster yellow. I may have to just buy some mature coneflowers and then try and have them naturally reseed themselves. But like I have memories at my parents' house of having an entire garden full of purple coneflowers, and then there would just be this sea of painted lady butterflies. And then later in the season, you would have all of the goldfinches that would eat all the seeds, the ones that wouldn't just fall naturally to the ground. So I want to do purple coneflowers, white coneflowers. They have like yellow coneflowers and orange coneflowers. A lot of that would be cool to do. So number 10 on my list of 10 plants that I'm going to grow next season is geraniums. Now, I'm going to make another video about 5 plants that I'm not going to grow next year. And there's a specific geranium type that I'm going to talk about in that video. But salmon multi-bloom geraniums, let me see here. I bought those from Swallowtail Garden Seeds. Salmon multi-bloom. that will be a staple in my garden for as long as I am in this house. I still have some that are still blooming outside and in the Four Seasons. So I will continue to grow those year after year. Also, I will try and grow more ivy geraniums. Now the ones I grew this year were called Tornado Mix. Tornado Mix or Hurricane Mix? Yeah, Tornado Mix. They're a little off from what I'm used to purchasing from like garden centers. Like the Tornado Mix, the leaves were smaller and then the flowers were different. I'm going to try and find some other varieties to try and grow. And I started growing them because it became harder and harder to find the plants every spring. And to give you a sense of the difficulty here, I bought 5 seeds for $5.99. So it cost more than $1 per seed. And I think I bought 3 packets. Yeah. And my mother basically took all of those plants. And then she forgot to send me some of the plants so I could overwinter them. So now I have to start from seed again. So those are my top 10 plants that I am going to grow from seed again next year. Now I will probably start my seed starting in mid-February. So we have the rest of November, December, and January to get through. And the snow has not come yet, but I'm already feeling the seasonal depression because it's 30 degrees out and windy, and I don't even want to go outside anymore. So I'm going to jump full on in Christmas decorating, and that should take me to Christmas, but then keep it all up until mid-January, and then go through the process of taking it all down and storing it correctly. And I will take you along for all of that. So get ready for Christmas Bonanza.